Hey guys, I'm reviewing some of the biggest games of the year, but I had to jump on and put this rundown together because all kinds of news is dropping. Let's start with the PlayStation Portal announcement. We finally have a name for this device. It's going to retail for US $200. We don't know the Canadian pricing yet, but it looks really damn cool. It looks like you took a DualSense controller and added a beautiful screen in the middle of it. It's an 8-inch screen that runs at 1080p and 60 frames per second. It's a remote play device, though. You can't really walk around with this untethered wirelessly to your PlayStation 5, so it has to connect over Wi-Fi, but it should stream PS5 games beautifully. I just tested out Nex Machina on my PS5 at home here while I was in a hotel playing on my Backbone device and on my phone, and it just ran beautifully. So presumably we're going to get something pretty remarkable in terms of fidelity on this device. Doesn't have Bluetooth in it, has a headphone jack, so if you've got really cool headphones you can plug in. But Sony also took this opportunity to really dive into their new audio hardware announcements. The Pulse Elite headset, which is going to retail for $150 US. It's got a little extendable microphone that will pop out. It has lossless audio using this new PlayStation Link architecture, which uses a USB dongle on your PS5. And apparently all of this will transmit beautifully to your PlayStation Portal, and it will sound incredible with these Pulse Elite headphones, which also comes with a cool charge hook that you can put the headphones on and it will actually charge, which is pretty interesting. They also gave us more details on the PlayStation Pulse Explore earbuds, and these are their first PlayStation branded earbuds, which look a little bit larger, and they also have Bluetooth in them, so you can use these with your cell phone, and they will also hook up with PlayStation Link. It's also lossless audio. These are a little bit more expensive at US $200, and additionally, PlayStation announced that they acquired a high-end headphone manufacturer called Audeze, and what's a big part of all of these announcements is that Audeze has been making high-end headphones for a long time using planar magnetic drivers, and planar magnetic drivers are a part of the Pulse Explore earbuds as well as the Pulse Elite headphones. So I guess they've been working together for a little while, and Sony announced that now Audeze is part of the PlayStation family. Now, I haven't had any hands-on time with this. I can't wait to try all of this stuff out. Obviously, I'm disappointed that the Portal isn't a standalone device that you can locally download stuff to and play anywhere that you want to. It does look like a device that maybe isn't perfectly suited for a lot of travel. I would hate to break this beautiful screen, but I am excited to try this out for sure. There are definitely times when I'd like to be on the couch playing my PlayStation 5 games in as beautiful portable fidelity as I possibly can. That's exactly what this device looks like it's going to do, and frankly that price point isn't too obnoxious, but let's test it out and let's give it a full review. I'll let you know when that is happening. Now, over at Gamescom, Jeff Keighley put together a pretty terrific opening night live show. There were lots of reveals, mostly of games that we knew were coming. It actually breaks down into a couple of categories. Brand new details, maybe we've heard about these games, we didn't know too much, and also new details for games that we know are on the way, and a surprise movie reveal in the form of Rebel Moon, and Zack Snyder took the stage and told everybody that this Netflix movie is on the way, and of course this is famously the Star Wars pitch that Zack Snyder made for Lucasfilm. They didn't go for it, but Netflix did, and so we have not one but two Rebel Moon movies on the way, and it looks like these movies borrow a little bit from every sci-fi film ever made. It looks like a big, elaborate, brand new franchise. There's also a game coming that Zack Snyder alluded to. We haven't seen anything on that, though, but I am looking forward to checking out Rebel Moon. It looks like fun. It also looks very Zack Snyder, but I'm okay with that. Zack Snyder has a style, and he always makes interesting things. Even if I don't love them, the visual look of his stuff is always unique and interesting. Now, in the surprises department, Bandai Namco announced Little Nightmares 3, which is going to be a co-op game, and a very cool developer, Supermassive Games, the guys that make all kinds of interactive story-based titles. The Quarry was one of the most recent games that they made. They are making Little Nightmares 3. I've loved this franchise, and I'm looking forward to this one very much. One of the wackiest trailers, because it was just filled with everything, is Crimson Desert, and we got a good look at gameplay. In this does, in fact, look like all gameplay, slices of all kinds of things. It looks like a little bit of Assassin's Creed, a little bit of Final Fantasy. You can pet the dogs, you can pick up the cats, you can turn into these metaphysical creations. You've got big boss fights and lots of climbing and clambering and pole vaulting. Looks like a lot of fun, this game. The Tekken 8 trailer gave us a nice big deep dive into the game. It's coming out on January 26, 2024. It looks like there's going to be a pretty elaborate story mode in there, lots of cool cut sequences, a super deformed big head mode. We're going to be able to run around and play classic arcade games with lots of character customization. It looks killer, and it looks obviously like it's been challenged by what they've been doing with Street Fighter 6 and also Mortal Kombat 1. This is an incredible time to be a fan of fighting video games. Rod Ferguson from Blizzard took the stage to talk about the new season for Diablo 4 called Season of Blood. And also Gemma Chan from Marvel's Eternals took the stage. It's going to be about vampires. It looks super fun. Lots of crazy new cool occulty-like animations. Lots of carnage. I am looking forward to checking out this season. I love vampires. Nice surprise was the Dustborn reveal, which looks like a fun adventure game. Looks like a collection of misfit characters fighting an oppressive, technologically advanced force. Lots of interesting dialogue clips that we got in the trailer, and a pretty cool look at the combat. I think this one is something to watch out for. It's called Dustborn. We also got a nice new look at Nightingale, which I checked out at last year's Summer Games Fest, so it's come a long way. The visuals are much improved from what I saw. Lots of fantasy elements in there, some steampunk elements in there. You can play cooperatively. You're surviving and you're crafting and casting all kinds of magic spells. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It goes into early access in 2024. Definitely the wackiest trailer that we saw at Opening Night Live is Thank Goodness You're Here. I don't even know what the gameplay is. This looks like some kind of independent animation, something that you might see at the Spike and Mike's Animation Festival or something. It looks wacky, it looks funny, and it looks absolutely original. Can't wait to play this game. Now, of course, we also got some deeper dives into games that we know are coming soon, like Alan Wake 2. We actually got a chance to go into the psyche of Alan Wake. We saw this mixture of live action and computer-rendered visuals, and holy crap, is it stunning. I cannot freaking wait to get lost in the madness of this game. I think it's going to be one of the highlights of 2023, and that's saying something. Assassin's Creed Mirage gave us a taste of the Arabic voiceover that's going to be a part of this game, so they're really leaning into the authenticity of the experience. It looks beautiful, it looks familiar, but it also looks welcoming. It's been a bit of time since I played Valhalla, so I'm looking forward to getting lost in this new Assassin's Creed adventure. The Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty trailer was really slick, really cool. This game has come a long way. Lots of nice little story bits. Obviously, Idris Elba's in this game. But what they also announced is that all of the cool new things that they're adding to Phantom Liberty will be applied to the base Cyberpunk 2077 experience for free. So they're kind of updating everything. And so this game is starting to become irrefutable. A very, very slick, still upper echelon in terms of technology, an action role-playing, story-driven, intense experience. I cannot wait to play Phantom Liberty. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 gave us a nice look at the opening stealth mission. Lots of incredible technology on display here. Really cool shadows and smoke effects and lighting effects. Looks incredibly detailed. Looks like Activision gives these developers all the resources they could possibly ever want. And of course, it's tying to lots of lore and story bits that we know from Call of Duties in the past, but probably with some cool twists and turns as well. I always dig the energy and the ambition that goes into crafting these campaign modes in Call of Duty. I cannot wait to play Modern Warfare 3. We also got a nice new look at gameplay from Black Myth Wukong, and this game is looking great. This is a Soulsborne type experience, looks like, with lots of intense boss fights, lots of really kinetic, crazy action to contend with. You've got this cool monkey warrior character, and there's crazy magical powers and things like that permeating through this. It's looking better and better every time I check it out, and this was a beautiful trailer. And definitely the most disturbing reveal of the night was Sindel's fatality in Mortal Kombat 1. This game looks freaking insanely cool, but man, that Sindel fatality, it had everybody squirming on the internet, and I'm sure everybody in the audience. Really impressed, though, that Jeff had Ed Boon up on stage. He also had Rod Ferguson up on stage for Diablo 4. Sam Lake was there representing Alan Wake 2, and developers from all over the world made it to Gamescom and made it to the stage. It was a great show. What are you most excited about from what you've seen from Gamescom? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, I've got a review of Gran Turismo. This is the brand new Sony and PlayStation Pictures movie. It's so cool to see the PlayStation logo before for this film. It's directed by Neil Blomkamp, who's one of my favorite directors. District 9, Chappie, Elysium. He's always got a really cool look and a cool style to his movies, and he's done lots of work with visual effects and independent movies, and he brings his own style to this movie. And the story behind this is about a real-life professional race car driver named Jan Mardenborough, who in the movie is played by Archie Madekwe, and he's really good. This actor is really good. But Jan Mardenborough became a professional race car driver, as you probably can guess by the title, by playing Gran Turismo and really getting to know these vehicles and these different tracks around the world. And he showed off his skill in the GT Academy, which I'm sure we covered at some point in EP. And he won a contest, a marketing-driven contest with Nissan, headed up by a guy that Orlando Bloom plays named Danny Moore. And he earned his way to becoming a professional driver against all kinds of pushback from the real professional drivers that were out there. Nobody thought that a sim racer could accomplish anything. And of course, in the story of the film, Jan Mardenborough starts to really accomplish some things and turn some heads, and everybody kind of swivels to look at how useful video games can be to train these athletes, these drivers. And so what was interesting about this movie is the concept is pretty clear. It's like video games are so realistic, you can become a professional driver. And that is an interesting nugget, but it definitely does feel like a marketing idea in reality and also in this picture. And so the beginning part of this movie is kind of zeroing in on the ambitions of Danny Moore, this guy that Orlando Bloom plays. And he picks up this really experienced mechanic who used to be a fantastic race car driver named Jack Salter, played by David Harbour, who's awesome in this movie. I love David Harbour. He's terrific in anything you see him in. And the beginning of the movie is just proving out this idea that this weird idea could actually be successful for Nissan, for PlayStation, for the racing world as well. And there's some bumps and stuff along the way, but honestly, that becomes less interesting than the idea of this kid who's very young, sort of coming into his own and recognizing his own strengths and his values, even though his parents don't really believe him and his friends don't quite understand, and most of the world doesn't understand what the hell is going on or why this kid is so driven. And that journey actually gets really interesting because as we see the danger that Jan Mardenborough has to face as he's tooling around at over 200 miles per hour on these ridiculously challenging courses, we get that visceral intensity. And Neil Blomkamp is the perfect director to kind of move from the digital to the physical space. He's always had an innate idea of how to make these digital effects look very realistic. You just have to look back at District 9 and how groundbreaking that movie was. So an excellent choice to direct these more action-infused racing sequences, which are incredibly kinetic. They absolutely pull you into the action. You feel how dangerous everything is. The movie is really tuned and very well cut. Sometimes it gets a bit sporadic and confusing because we're bouncing from close cut to close cut. But that's, I think, the intensity that we're dealing with here. And so I was enjoying the movie, the kind of almost fantasy tale of this kid being a great gamer, almost like The Last Starfighter, being a great gamer and then becoming a great racer. But the movie really, no pun intended, accelerates as we go into the back half of the film, and we get a deeper look at the human that Jan Mardenborough is and what he is capable of, and also his connection to David Harbour's character and the other sort of racing elite that he's challenging, and we see what he can do and pull off. And that is all just expertly crafted by Neil Blomkamp and his crew. They did an excellent job ramping things up for the racing sequences. They are thrilling. It's really a beautiful looking movie, technologically, but artistically as well. I just love the intimate cuts juxtaposed against this ridiculous racing action. It's a bit formulaic. It's a little bit of that sort of Rocky sports hero type thing that we've seen before. Someone comes from nothing and becomes a champion, but it's effective. It's really well told, and it is that neat kind of bridge story from the digital to real life, and they couldn't have found a better shepherd than Neil Blomkamp to make that possible on screen. So this is the best sports movie or the best racing movie that I've ever seen, but it's really much better than it has any right to be. And I think one of the most successful things about this movie is that it makes you want to play the game. And, obviously I'm already in, but I can imagine a lot of people will check this movie out. They're going to think, oh my God, racing games look like this, and they're going to take that leap. And clearly that's a big part of the synergies here that Sony was looking at. So it definitely succeeds in that, but it has a lot more emotion and craftsmanship than you would expect. I'm going to give Gran Turismo a 7.5 out of 10. All right, my friends, that's going to do it for this packed rundown. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and that thumbs up button. Thank you also for following us over at twitch.tv/EPN. We'll see you soon, and until then, play forever.